Good evening everyone, welcome to Forgotten Stream. I'm joined by MixD tonight.
Good evening.
And we have a semi-final match of United League Reborn 4. The teams are Crazy Machine Chicks and two Novus Trackers. They are competing in Division 1 of United League Reborn 4 in Trackmania United Forever. So these are the teams ranked first, that is CMC, and third in the division, that's TnT. And we will have 5 maps to play tonight. So the vetoes were like this. TnT picked, I believe, Rally. Then CMC picked Ghost. Then CMC banned... What did they ban again?
Sorry, so CMC banned Bay.
Yep. They banned Bay and
TnT banned Stadium.
So that leaves us with Snow, Desert, Rally, Island and Coast. It is going to be an interesting match, because as I ceaselessly repeat all season long, the teams in Division 1 are stacked to the brim, the level is sky high, and I'm not even sure it would be meaningful to go by the stats to make any predictions about the winners.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, top level teams here, what can you say? I'm expecting this to be super tight. Island, it looks like we're warming up on Island here. Sort of expecting a classic face-off with TnT being fast but crashy and CMC bringing in the steady points. I'm hopeful for a CMC win because that's my bias, but it's going to be tight.
Yes, we are obviously going to be CMC biased, both of us being CMC drivers.
107.11 from Norman there in warm-up. Well ahead. Ahead of Sander, 0.6 ahead.
Starting strong indeed. So yes, it looks like TnT are going to have Norman, Novem and Ezom for Island. I would say rather unorthodox lineup. I'd obviously expect Norman and Novem, them being Island legends. Ezom, oh, certainly a D1 driver, but not really one I would expect TnT to field for a semi-final. And CMC will have Sander, Zooz and Quiksilver. A classic lineup, something you might as well have seen back in 2008.
Yeah. Jumper Jack and Quiksilver were close in qualifying, and they actually, in such cases, quite often they say, oh, we'll decide it in warm-up, just see who's hottest in warm-up. But as it happened, there was a spare 30 minutes before the match, so they went off for to get warm in sort of a second qualifying, and Quiksilver won out in that one.
Yes, and we could also mention a thing or two about the map. It is called Space, and it was built by a certain JTK. I think it is no longer a secret, and everyone knows that JTK is a mapping trio. That is Jumper Jack, TM Jonas and Kiwi Ninja.
And all have had plenty of maps in previous leagues. In fact, all of them had other maps in this league as well, I think.
That is correct. I think all of them had solo maps selected too. Well, the defining feature, I would say, is the amount of space provided in certain points, like at the start and towards the finish, with wide platform sections where you can have lots of different trajectories, although that is not entirely true for the finish, because there is a transition that enforces quite a narrow line, so you don't have a lot of choice as to where you can go there. And I would also want to mention this double helix. A very tricky section, apparently not something that is driven the way it was intended by the mapper.
Was that meant to be outside lines?
Yeah, at least one of them was meant to be an outside helix.
Okay.
But it turned out to be fast on the inside. So
Do we know who mapped that particular part?
Yes,
Not
we
that
do.
I want to point fingers and put blame, but
Yes, we do, because I did ask, and that was Jumper Jack.
ooh, ay. So going the inside line might be considered a cut. Is that allowed?
I guess it's easier driving over the same block, even if you were driving on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you raise about the open spaces and how they allow different lines. I think it's particularly noticeable in the opening section where there's just a huge bit of platform, and might be confusing to some people, I suppose, but it's quite clearly allows wider lines that let you get more speed, or a tighter line, which will take you less time, but you'll have a lower exit speed. So the tighter line is a bit more risky. I mean, it can be slightly faster overall, but it just depends. I think a lot of drivers feel that the wider line, it's worth going the wider line just for the added safety, and it's not that much slower.
Yes, and it is obviously quite easy to make mistakes, crash and lose heaps of time on this map.
Yep.
Okay, so the drivers are finally ready. That is pretty quick. So I think we can confirm it is going to be Norman, Ezom and Novem for TnT against Sander, Quiksilver and Zooz for CMC. So 3 joystick drivers on the CMC side against 2 gamepads, that is Norman and Ezom, and a wheel driver in Novem. And the lights are out and away we go, and we already have 2 CMC drivers going wide in the first turn. Sander going for the narrower line. I believe Zooz has had a crash, he's 2 seconds behind. Sander fighting it out with Norman, Novem with a slide. So Norman in first, followed by Sander, Ezom and Quiksilver. CMC drivers do need to do something, because as things stand it would be a round for TnT. Let's see, can Sander do anything about it? He's taking closer lines, but it doesn't really help him as yet. Looks like Norman went full speed on that section. Who's going to come out on top after this transition? Nothing is changing, but Sander. Ooh, and Norman has crashed at the finish. But Quiksilver has crashed as well and finished last. And TnT take the first round.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quiksilver in the middle of the round there, it was looking crucial that he get past somebody to get that extra point. TnT were winning by 1 point at that point. And I think Quick, he just pushed a little bit too hard. Oof. And we've got 2 people out at the start, one of each team. As Norman takes the lead again. We have Novem and Zooz bringing up the rear. Oh, Zooz is making moves. And he's getting past Ezom. So that puts CMC with a 1 point lead at the moment. Nobody's going to go safe, and Novem crashes coming off the road to platform transition. Loses a bunch of time. Zooz sliding, and he's losing a bunch of time. He lets Ezom get past. It's still a CMC round by 1 point right now. Zooz has a 1 second advantage on Novem. Sander is fighting for first place. He doesn't really need it. Norman leading the way at the moment. Oof, and Sander taking such tight lines. This is risky. And looks like Norman's got it now. He's got a useful lead. I think Sander backed off sensibly, and it looks like CMC might have this one. If only Zooz, and he does. Oof. That takes us to 1-1. What a round.
Yes, ever so close. 2 rounds with 11-10 scores, both going the ways of different teams. This time it is CMC on top. Not a good start for Zooz. He crashed in both rounds, and so far he's only got 5 points out of 2 rounds. We're into round 3. Norman once again with the quickest of starts, and Sander following him closely. Norman small slide at the helix. Zooz and Quiksilver also drifted a bit, and that is Sander in the lead, followed by Norman, Quiksilver and Ezom. I believe Novem is in last. Ezom going past Quiksilver, so that puts current points standings as 11-10 for CMC. Let's see how much is going to change. Ooh, Sander with a slide. He's dropping back, losing positions, and it is 1-2 for CMC at the moment. Oh, I mean for TnT at the moment. Ezom, however, made a small mistake, allowed Sander and Quiksilver through. And just like that, it is still going to be an 11-10 round win for CMC, but oh my god, this is so close.
Oof. And CMC got a little bit lucky there. TnT did have it. Just a slight mistake by Ezom was enough to let 2 CMCs past. Ooh, but yeah, tight one. But Norman crashes. So far he's had a good... he's been dominant. He and Sander leading the points, but now he is in last place. And his teammates in TnT are going to have to pick it up. Zooz takes slides and he lets Ezom pass. The TnT do have places 1 and 2 right now. This is a TnT round. Ezom slides. Zooz gets past. Sander gets past. Quiksilver, he's threatening as well. Ezom with a slightly wider line. In this tunnel, does it claim any victims this time? Yeesh. Not quite, but Quiksilver gets closer and closer. He puts his nose in front for a microsecond, but Ezom gets it back. With Novem out front, this is a TnT round at the moment, with Zooz pulling up the rear. Can Sander get that first place? Oof! Nearly, but not quite. That's a TnT round.
Oh my god, so many things happening. So Sander had a slide at the first helix, Zooz had a slide at the second helix, and then drifted the turn before the airport. And it still went 11-10 for TnT, but Sander was inches away from taking the round. That was 300th of a second, and Sander crashes at the start. This is not looking good. Norman once again in the lead, followed by Novem, Zooz and Quiksilver. Let's see if they're going to have enough grip on the helix. Yes, they do, but Quiksilver slides the following downhill turn. That drops him down into 5th. Zooz is attacking for the lead. It is neck and neck between him and Norman, but Quiksilver would have to make up some places to... Ooh, Ezom helping him a little bit by going too wide in the tunnel. Zooz not quite able to overtake Norman just yet. Let's see. I think at this point it's all riding on Norman making mistakes rather than Zooz doing anything. And does it look like Norman is going to help CMC? No, it doesn't. And with Sander crashing and finishing last in 112, that is another round for TnT. 11-10 once again.
Sander was pushing hard. He was getting a lot of time and he had made it into 5th. He went over that crest at the end too fast, got air time and went into the barriers. So yeah, that was down to the wire. And that's Norman into 1st place on driver points, and he is 1st in this round, followed by 3 CMCs. On that last round, Sander slid both helixes. Once you go into one and you've got the bad line, it can be hard to recover. But this time he gets through it safely. But Norman with a 0.2 lead, 0.3 lead actually now. And that's handy. But the backup from his teammates is not quite there right now. Ezom is 0.03 of a second, whereas he has got past Quiksilver, and that's made it a TnT round by 1 point right now, as Norman gets past Sander as well. And this is looking promising for TnT. Oof, Sander into 1st place. It's all change. So at the moment it is a CMC round with 136. That's good enough. It's an 11-10 win, but that's all you need. And that's how we just need Quiksilver to finish. He does finish, thus avoiding a draw.
Oh my goodness.
And this is another 11-10 round. All of them have been 11-10 so far, and it's 3-3.
I don't know if you were following Sander or Norman at the finish. That was so insanely close, and Sander just about managed to take it by 200th of a second. Okay, 3 points on the board for each team. It is round 7. Norman once again with a good start. I don't think... Wait, what happened to Norman? He's last. I missed it somehow. Okay, so it is Sander out in front, followed by Novem and Zooz. And Novem with a touch there. That will drop him right down the order. Sander and Zooz, 1st and 2nd. Followed by Ezom. He's trying to catch up. And it actually looks successful. He's closing the gap to Zooz. Let's see if he's going to... No, he's dropping back. Doesn't look like TNTs are going to do anything in this round. Yep, 1-2 for CMC. 107 low for Sander, and I believe that is the fastest match time so far, although it's only 100th faster than his previous round time.
Yeah, I missed what happened to Norman as well. Of course, that's going to always make it difficult for your team if your top guy is coming in last place. Right now, Sander is leading Norman in the driver points by 3 points. Again, Norman heads into 1st place. Quiksilver has dropped back a bit at the start here. In front we've got this pack of 5. Well, they are starting to space out. At the moment it's a TnT round, but it's really too close to call at the front. Plenty of the map to go. Sander sneaks past Norman. And that puts us into... and Zooz does as well. Novem into 1st, Norman, and we switch from a CMC 1-2 to a TnT 1-2, but then Zooz sneaks in again. At the moment a TnT round. Who's going to make the difference here? We need... CMC would need Zooz to go into 1st, or as happens, Norman crashes, and that's disastrous. Quiksilver gets past him as well, and CMC with a 2-3-4, that's a handy round win for them.
Oh my god, that was so close all the way through this round between 4 drivers. Norman...
Crashes are making the difference.
Yeah, Norman went a bit too tight on the inside, clipped an edge of the block, and that cost him everything. he finished last.
CMC with an advantage now.
Yes, winning 2 rounds and not by just a single point. So that is, for the first time, a bigger gap than a single point between the two teams. And in this round, Norman, as ever, with a good start, followed by Sander and Novem, and Quiksilver. And Zooz must have crashed because he's 3.5 seconds in arrears. Quiksilver made a mistake because he's 1.6 behind. And it is 1-2 for the TnT drivers as things stand, but Sander definitely doesn't want to be looking at that picture. He's already dealt with Novem and he is... Ooh, Norman has crashed! But that doesn't really change anything because Sander is still followed by 3 TnT drivers, and unless the TnTs are going to start crashing, it will still be their round. Let's see, Sander does finish first, bringing the bar even lower, I mean higher, with 107.05, but there is no backup from his teammates. 4-5, CMC still in front.
Yeah, slight comedy round there from a couple of the CMC drivers. In some ways it's good to do your crashes together on the one round, the synchronized crashing. And no extra points for that, unfortunately. And at the start, we have Ezom dropping back a little bit. Norman, yet again, leading the way, and we have had Quiksilver has hit the building, and he's dropped back significantly. So at the moment, a TnT round by 1 point. So Ezom is fighting to get past Zooz. Novem also right there. It's flipping back and forth. Novem does have more speed here. He has potential to get past, but everyone needs to slow down a little bit for that turn in the tunnel, lest it claim victims. And that tunnel likes to claim victims, but it hasn't been successful in this match. So right now, a TnT round as Novem takes an alternate line, goes very fast, but hits the barrier! And that could be potentially switching it to the way of CMC. Sander does get into the lead by 0.04 of a second, and it's a CMC round, and they made it look easy in the end after losing most of the round. Just at the end there, it all changed.
Jesus, what is going on? Sander did manage to overtake Norman, only just 0.04 of a second, and I believe Novem that was crashing towards the end and giving extra points to the red side.
That's map point.
Yes, map point for CMC. Let's see if the TnT drivers have an answer to that. They certainly have the pace, they certainly have the skilled drivers for that. So up to them, well, of course up to CMC drivers too, because they can make mistakes as well, like Quiksilver, who is 3.5 seconds behind. And Novem, ooh, he was pulling ahead of Sander, but he went too wide and then he slid and now he crashed. And once again, Norman and Sander brawling for the first position, but Norman made a mistake and had a massive crash in the tunnel. Might need to respawn, and that is Sander in first, followed by Ezom, followed by Zooz. And Quiksilver is in 5th, and it looks like a CMC round win unless they crash. And Sander makes a mistake! He's passed by Zooz. Let's see if Novem is going to be able to catch up. No, he isn't. And Quick finishes ahead of Norman, and CMC do take an 11-10 round this time.
Oof.
That was quite a thriller.
Yeah, Sander pushing at the end there, and he really didn't need to. He had a good lead. He could have just saved it, but
well,
you know how it is. Sometimes you don't necessarily feel that you want to save. You don't want to lose that position.
Well, you say that Ezom was basically right on his tail, and
I think it was about 0.6. I think at that point in the map you could.
Well,
but anyway,
that was incredibly exciting. I'm glad I witnessed that.
Yeah, indeed, that was a classic. The only way it could have been better was more rounds.
Yeah, what was it, 7-4? Definitely could have gone for longer, even tennis mode. Could
Yeah,
have gone
indeed.
the way of TnT just as well.
Indeed it could have.
Okay, that was positively mad. I'm still buzzing. So, it looks like they're going to drive Rally next. It is advantage for TnT because it's their home map, built by BlackCat. His first ever foray into the map editor. A map he named Maximus 2. I can't really say that I have anything in particular to mention about the map. It's a very technical track. Not easy to master by any means. And driver skill makes all of the difference.
Yeah, I think even though it has been trained a lot by these top drivers, I think there is still a feeling that there's time to find. One interesting point about this map is that there's actually a cut at the end, which
Okay,
I'll mention when we get to it.
let me show it right now then. I'm still not handy with these cameras, but I think I'm on it. Damn,
So,
the trees are slightly blocking the view, but I don't know, I hope the viewers can get the idea.
well, if you can take us through the track, there is a part where there's a dirt chicane, but you can, rather than taking that chicane, go up the grass bank and use that to jump over the fence. And I presume that fence was placed there to try and prevent the cut, but it's not enough. You can jump over the fence. Kind of surprising to see that BlackCat was aware of the cut. But somehow just, I don't know. Anyway, this is them coming up to it now. I think that TnT and CMC have agreed that they will not be using that cut, a sort of gentleman's agreement that it's not to be used.
Yes, I believe that is the case, so we're not going to be seeing this during the match. Yeah, I actually did want to mention a couple of points. So there's this section right after the start with a couple of dirt chicanes here going under the bridge. You really have to keep it on the track, because if you go a bit too wide on the outside and on this off-road block, you lose a colossal amount of time. It does make a significant difference. It's like 0.2, 0.3 maybe of a second at once, and then you go over this crest, after which you have to brake, and that is followed by a very fast right-hander, followed by an enormous braking point into this 90 right. And after that, well, it's just a general rally tech with some downhills requiring braking, some tricky turns, and that's it. Let's see what the drivers are going to do. Do you, by any chance, know who is going to be driving for CMC?
I actually don't. I'll take a guess, Arusandra and Zooz, but I really don't know.
I'm pretty sure Roa was trained and that he liked the maps, so we shall see. But in any case, it is crystal clear who is driving for the TnTs. That is BlackCat, the rally legend, Garfovsky, a newer rally and TMO in general legend, and Yannovsky, also a rally legend from all the way back in old ET leagues. For CMC, yeah, I would presume Sandy and Arrow, and then probably either Roa or Zooz. It's hard to tell.
It could be that they're just seeing in warm-up who's the warmest. As I see Zooz crashing there. We'll see.
We can also mention controllers. So for TnT, that is 3 joysticks, like was the case for the CMC Island Squad. They have the Thrustmaster joysticks, the same model. On the CMC side, in warm-up, we have 4 drivers. Sander and Zooz are also using joysticks, also the same model, while Arrow and Roa are using gamepads, which is not exactly the norm for top-tier rally, but they are proving it wrong. Well, I mean, they're trying to make a point that you can compete on top level even using gamepad.
Yeah, I understand that there have been some thumb injuries as a result of rally tracks during this league for gamepad users.
Yes, that requires so much precision.
Maybe not the point they want to make, but there you go. And of course, we don't want players getting injured.
Definitely not.
So this, I think, is the last round of warm-up, it looks like. Rally is an environment where drivers do like to have more warm-up than on other environments. I saw in the last round, here goes Zooz for the cut, and crashes the rocks as he tries it. He tried the cut on the last one. I'm not sure if he's just messing around or if I've misunderstood what's happening with it. Of course, he's maybe not driving. But all the good luck have funds have gone in. JJ restarts the map. And we're going in.
I want to mention that Arrow is using a Sonic Hedgehog model for his car. I don't know how on earth he's going to drive like that, since it is so much smaller than the actual car.
It's especially confusing on Alpine because the tapping of the feet sounds a little bit like the normal cars on the boards, but just different enough to be weird.
Okay, so it looks like we have Sander, Roa and Arrow on CMC side, and Garfovsky, BlackCat, Yannovsky for TnT. And the lights are out, away we go. And it is a strong start for Sander, Roa and Jan. Arrow also hanging in there. Roa and Sander going neck and neck. Roa dropping a little bit, and 1, 2, 3 for CMC right now. Yannovsky, their closest follower. No big mistakes at the moment. Roa dropping back behind Jan, and it looks like he's catching up. I think Roa might have gone a bit too wide. Yes, he did. Dropped a significant amount of time, but not to worry because Arrow and Sander are still there. BlackCat, he wants to get into the action. That was an interesting line there. Over the chicane, didn't quite work out. So Roa did make a huge mistake, 105 for him, but 103s for Arrow and Sander. 1-2, first blood for CMC.
And Garfield the cat complaining about the hedgehog. Yeah, I think some drivers. Do you actually have that model visible on the stream?
I actually do, because Arrow sent it to me and asked me to use it.
Okay. Yeah, BlackCat did try a different line at the chicane at the end there. He gained a little bit of time, but it wasn't enough. Now, he is leading the way on this round, and at the moment it's the do have it, because TnT have positions 1, 3, 6, and that's 1 point as Roa makes a mistake, Garfovsky makes a mistake on the dirt there, and they're both losing a load of time. Roa gets slightly worse of it. So the CMCs up the front are going to have to make the difference. BlackCat has got a useful lead. I can't see anyone getting past him now unless he's got a crash, but Aru is really threatening. My goodness. Aru picked up a lot of time there, but it wasn't enough. TnT get it by 1 point.
And Sander actually did overtake Yannovsky by 100th. And yeah, we have questions in chat. This is the second map. The first one was Island, and CMC took it 7-4. But that was a lot closer than the score suggests. 1 for 1 here on rally at the moment. We're into round 3. Good start by Sander and Yannovsky. Ooh, Sander making mistakes there, dropping behind. Roa not quite so handy in that chicane section before the crest. I believe BlackCat went for a tactical wallbang. Roa a bit too hot. Ooh, an off-road trip for BlackCat. That will drop him right down. And Aro is fighting Jan for the lead. Sander is also coming back, but there's Garfovsky right there in the mix with them. 4 drivers, ever so close. How's it going to end? And oh my god, Yannovsky actually clutches it, finishing 400th of a second ahead of Arrow. And they take the round 11-10. For the second round in a row, actually.
Yeah. A win at the last turn there. And Aru might be triggered by that. He falls back a little bit at the start here, is into 5th place, chased by Yannovsky. So the 2 guys at the front before are at the back right now. Roa leading the way. CMC with the 1-2. Garfovsky is right there, threatening to get past. And the gap is minuscule. And Aru, I think he touched the wall there, drops back a little bit again. So it's up to Sander and Roa to pull in this round with a 1-3-6. That is the winning position. That was... and Roa does get into 2nd. So if Sander, if they can hold on to that, it's a CMC round, but TnT are not going to give up easily, and it can all change right at the finish here. They're bunching up, fighting over that 2nd place. Can Roa hold on to it? He does! Oof.
That was insanely close. For the 2nd place, Sander did hold his own for 1st. Roa did hold on for 2nd, and they take the round. 2 for 2.
To be fair, the TNTs could have taken those 2 places and it would still have been a CMC round there.
Okay. So, Yannovsky, not the best jump over that crest, but he is still right there in the mix. BlackCat and Aru fighting for the lead, and Jan just getting it all a little bit wrong. And dropping down the order, but he's still in it, and Roa with a tactical wallbang on the entry. Arrow in 1st from BlackCat and Sander and Garfovsky, and it is ever so close between these 4 drivers, and BlackCat went too wide on the grass and dropped back. So Arrow and Sander out in front from Garfovsky. BlackCat, Jan and Roa I believe is in last. Let's see, is Garfovsky going to be able to do anything about the CMC's lead? And it doesn't look like it, with a double 103. Another 1-2 round for CMC.
And that's CMC back into the lead by 1 point. It's gone back and forth. With Sander and Aru though having dominant points positions for drivers, 24 and 23 there. followed. Closest is Yannovsky with 16. Garfovsky also on 16. So TnT have been playing the smart team tactics to get their points. As Garfovsky has a slim lead and gets a little bit more as Roa touches the inside there. At the moment it's a TnT round by 1 point. Who's risking on the grass? A couple of drivers going on the grass on the left there. It is slightly faster if you can make it there, but it's tough because a lot of the focus is on the corner before it. CMC with a 1-2 right now. It's looking pretty good. They've got a useful lead, 0.7 ahead of Yannovsky. They should just go safe at this point. Yannovsky risking a bit too much in the chicane, and Sander sneaks past him even. Everyone sneaks past him. CMC round, it's 4-2.
Yes, Garfovsky was right there in the mix for the first place, but he got everything wrong and dropped back. And 2 gamepad drivers sharing their first 2 positions in the round. 4-2, the biggest gap we've seen so far, and no real mistakes at the start. Interesting line there from Yannovsky. Ooh, he goes too wide there. He is out of the round. Garfovsky attacking hard. BlackCat with a good line through that dirt section. But Garfovsky not quite as handy on the downhill. Roa coming back at him, and Sander was momentarily ahead of BlackCat. But it is so tight between the 5 drivers actually. With Jan being so far behind, I think with Sander in first that would be a round win for CMC. Unless somebody crashes too much. Let's see, BlackCat and Garfovsky second and third. Are they going to be able to do something at the finish? They might, but it is not enough. Sander wins the round for himself and for the team, 11-10.
Oof, these finishes are tight. You just never quite know. Right until the last turn, it could all be changing. Sander holding on to it there. Crucially, that 1 point difference gave the map win to CMC. And Sander and BlackCat out front, fighting over that first place by 600, and BlackCat gets into the lead. Garfovsky pulls into second. Tight pack. Roa is only at the back, only 0.2 behind. And Aru sneaks up there into third. And Roa gets into fifth. He's fighting with Garfovsky now. He's going to get into fourth potentially. He takes a bit more grass. Garfovsky a bit bouncy on the dirt. Roa threatening even to get past BlackCat. Can he get a CMC 1-2-3? Not this time. Slides at the crest and hits the wall. But with a CMC 1-2-6, it's still a winning position. It's a little bit bouncy over the chicane, but Sander and Aru bring it home. 103.54 for Sander.
Yes, a triple 104 mid-round for the TnT drivers, but that is not quite enough. And 6-2, and it is already map point for CMC. Can they close it out right now, or can TnT make a comeback and bring it to tennis mode? Garfovsky had a bad start, and we have Aru and BlackCat fighting for the lead. Ooh. Aru going a bit too wide at that chicane complex, something I mentioned during warm-up. And that drops him into fifth. Oh, Yannovsky with a crash. That is not a good look for TnT drivers. So that is Roa from BlackCat, Sander and Aru, followed by Garfovsky, and Jan is over 4 seconds behind the leaders. At this rate, I think the CMCs just need to go safe, and Roa doesn't even need to fight BlackCat. Let's see, can they bring it home? Yes, they can. Roa with a 103.26.
Raw was actually on blue times for his against his own personal best on rounds. It just lost a little bit at the end.
And was that a rage quit from Garfovsky right there? I don't think he even said GG.
I missed it.
So
He may be going to warm up for another map.
7-2 for CMC, 40 points for both Sander and Arrow, and every single CMC driver with a 1:03.2 as their best time. 24 for Sander, 26 for Roa and Arrow. Yes, so that was 7-2, but definitely, certainly, it was closer than the score suggests.
And with Garfovsky back straight away, that suggests he was probably making adjustments to DX tweak, or his game crashed. Most likely the former, the DX tweak changes that some drivers like to make, especially for rally.
That is interesting. I didn't know Garfovsky was using DX tweak.
I couldn't say for certain, but that's just my best bet on that one.
And now we have desert, and this is home soil for the CMC team because the map is built by Zooz, one of our veteran drivers. It is called Digital Tension Dementia. Do you have anything in particular to mention about it apart from the loop, which is the only thing I can think of right now? So let me mention it. So there is chicane number 1 into 90 left over the booster and into the loop, and then yeah, if you go with 2 wheels on the boost you get a little bit less speed, and you can also crash and you might have to respawn. So that is a tricky section. But apart from that, I don't really have anything else to add.
Well, the section they're coming up to now, they have potential on a sand to road transition. There's always potential to bump up and really mess up your line for the next corner. There are 2 finishes at the finish, but the left one is clearly faster, so we would normally expect all the drivers to go for that. Unless there are exceptional circumstances, such as a crash, there is always the possibility to go for another one. It's a pretty tight start, this one. I mean, you really need to full steer and get close to the corners, so even at the start there's potential to crash. Getting onto that boost, you want 4 wheels on it if you can to get the maximum acceleration. Around the sand, you need to slow down. You want to avoid sliding. Is, I think, the strategy that most drivers take. So it looks a little scary at first because people who take the slide strategy will go out in front at first, but then their slide will slow them down. So if you go slower and no slide, you should be able to get that time back. There was a cut found at that section. As you come off the water, it was possible to take the rocks and leap over a barrier. I don't know if that was just banned or if the map was actually modified to prevent that.
It was actually fixed.
Oh, okay.
But that was a hilarious cut.
It was a good one, and some drivers learned how to take it smoothly and really pick up quite a lot of time there. I mean, I think Trackmania, especially in the early days, certainly for myself when I discovered Trackmania, the cuts were a lot of the fun of Trackmania. Of course, in league driving, that's not really what it's all about. So,
yes, so we actually do have a dedicated cut tester for all the maps in RAD.
Yep.
He did a phenomenal job going through 140 tracks searching for cuts. So yeah, he did let some not very obvious ones slip, but yeah, the amount of cuts he managed to find in this space of time that he was allotted for that job.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
should
so
be
much,
credited.
yeah, with so many tracks to go through, I mean that's just that's a big job. You know, if you sit and think, well, how long am I going to spend on each map to find cuts, and multiply that by 140, yeah, yikes, you know.
Even if you spend like 10 minutes per map, that is...
I'm not even going to try the multiplication in my head. It's just scary amounts of time.
1,400 minutes. What's that in hours? Oh, damn it. He's obviously sad that he did let some casts through. But come on, Rad, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
You did a phenomenal job, and you did everyone a good service. So, what might we be expecting for the lineup? I guess for CMC that should be Sander, Neko and Zooz. Can you confirm? I think you saw the qualies.
For Desert, actually I didn't, but yeah, that seems like the most likely lineup to me.
Yeah, because Zooz is a desert pro and that's his map. Then there's Sander, who says he's not really good on desert, but I think he might have a world record on this one.
He has the Daddy one in rounds.
At any rate, yeah. And we also have Neko, who is an absolute desert star.
Yeah, he's a monster, a prodigy. As he goes for the right finish there, as they're messing around. So that's four rounds of warm-up. And looks like everyone's ready.
It's not quite easy to tell at the moment who is going to be driving for TnT. 4 capable drivers I see, but we shall find out in a second.
We should say that White P must be Passi.
Yes,
that's Passi.
White P is Passi indeed. I don't know what that new alias is about.
It's just a joke on infamous TFS driver BlackQ.
Ah, yeah. Didn't quite discern that. Okay, and it is going to be Garfovsky, Passi and BlackCat for TnT against Zooz, Sander and Neko for CMC. The lights are out, away we go. A quick start for Zooz right there, but it is only the first corners, and Garfovsky going too wide on 2 wheels and dropping time. And the CMC trio are currently in the first 3 positions, followed by Passi and BlackCat and Garfovsky. And I know that Passi is an incredibly quick driver on desert. So let's see, he's probably going to attempt to come back, and he is getting closer to Zooz, and so is BlackQ, and Passi is already in 3rd. He was momentarily in 2nd, but made a mistake, and then he made another and dropped back into last, but Garfovsky crashed. Sander leading comfortably from Neko and Zooz. And Passi and Zooz finish with identical times of 1:04:38. The game decides that Passi took the round from Zooz, and that's a comfortable round win for CMC.
I noticed that Passi has put in a faster time during the warm-up, so I don't know if that's why Trackmania decided he got that point. It's some of the edge cases, or corner case actually, for that one are not well understood. Sander putting in a dominant performance on that first round, and well, see, you could say the same about CMC. With well, arguably the first 3 rounds. I hear a horn going. You don't hear many horns in Division 1 matches. I think that must be Zooz. I notice on the driver points that Fast gave it to Zooz, but we don't go by Fast, the server controller. We go by what Trackmania says, and it controls the round points. So CMC 1, 2, 3 again. So it's not a promising start for TnT here, but these guys are fast drivers. They're certainly capable of keeping up. So I'm expecting the following rounds they're going to be fighting back. But right now, 2-0 for CMC.
Yes, so far Sander is being in a dominant position, driving almost a second faster than the rest. And not a strong start indeed from TnT, but I know they are all skilled drivers and they had good times in Daddies, so I'm expecting a bit more of a show from them. And BlackCat crashed on the inside on that off-road section. Neko dropping behind the leaders, and it is Sander, Zooz and Passi in the lead, followed by Garfovsky and Neko with a small gap. And what happened to Sander? Did he have to respawn? He definitely made a mistake at the loop. And BlackCat with a crash. Let's see if Sander is going to be able to catch up. Right now it is Zooz in first, followed by Neko and Garfovsky. Passi was with this back, but he made a mistake. And let's see, anything's going to happen? No. 104.10 each for Zooz and Neko, 500 slower for Garfovsky, and Sander finishes 5th. Obviously made a loop noob.
So the loop claims a victim. Yeah, I know Neko in particular has been tearing his hair out trying to get through that loop safely throughout training, so we'll see how many other victims it claims. I wonder if Neko is gets nervous every time he comes up to it. But so far so good, and Neko is actually second equal to Sander on driver points. Zooz leading driver points by 1. Oh, except that's cheating because Fast given him an extra point that it shouldn't have. So in fact, 3 CMC drivers on equal driver points, all on 14. Neko out front. Sorry, who crashed? Nobody? No, it's all good. So a CMC round at the moment, but it is still pretty tight. I don't think CMC are going to be feeling they can go safe. They're still going to have to be fighting for this one. Garfovsky threatening to get past Sanders as we move into the last 2 turns. And CMC with 1, 3, 4 get that round.
And Neko bringing the heat with that 103.23. Fastest time so far. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that Zooz had an equal time with Neko the rounds prior, so I didn't quite pay attention to what points Fast gave for that one. So JJ might have to look up my vote later. And BlackCat crashed at the start, and what was that? I think Passi was crashing as well, because we have Zooz, Garfovsky, Neko and Sander in the lead. And with 4-0 for CMC, it looks promising so far. It does look like the TnT drivers have the pace, but they are just lacking the consistency. And Zooz was leading and crashed, and Neko was going second and crashed. What's going on? Is that a jinx? Sander, meanwhile, still going strong in first. Zooz and Neko, I say that, no longer in 4th and 5th. Yes, Neko misses out by 100th of a second, and TnT do take their first point.
Oh, that's tight. Yeah, Zooz had been way out ahead. He was obviously pushing hard. Neko similarly pushing hard, and they really didn't need to risk in that round they had a good lead and could have gone safe, but they must have been feeling confident, and I think in that case their confidence exceeded their grip. But it's another round and another chance. Let's see if they can redeem themselves here. Sander is leading the way, but Garfovsky is right with him. And I think that was Passi making a mistake at the loop, and he lost a bunch of time there. He's dropped back a lot.
BlackCat too.
BlackCat is, yeah. So this, CMC could just go safe. They could let Garfovsky pass them first, but it doesn't look like they want to do that. Oof, and Neko crashes. He does let Passi pass. And Sander hold on to first. He does hold on to first. So CMC 135. And that puts them at a 5-1. It's a commanding lead. But of course it's not insurmountable for TnT. They've had a crashy round.
BlackCat must have had a disastrous round there with 118.
They just need to calm their nerves. They're capable of the speed.
Neko is definitely a bit too nervous. That is an uncharacteristic amount of mistakes from him on desert. Let's see. So far he's actually last on points among CMC drivers. That is third overall. And that does sort of represent the picture with the team points. And we're into round 7. I think Zooz made a mistake there, and that was probably him honking into the loop. No mistakes from the leaders. It is close this round with advantage for TnT, but it is so tight, and BlackCat makes a mistake, crashes out. That is advantage CMC, but by a single point. And Sander and Neko are getting ahead of Passi, and that is already... Ooh, Neko with a mistake at the finish, and Passi wins the round from Sander, and that was a costly mistake from Neko, because TnT take the round.
Yeah, an impressive round from Passi there. He had a good lead and just made one mistake, went a little bit too wide on the GP blocks. That lost him 2 positions, so made a gargantuan effort to get it back at the finish there. CMC still with 5 points. Is this TnT starting their fight back? Passi had been out in front. Sander gets past them. This is CMC in the leading position right now. Passi just braking a little bit earlier than the rest there. And what happens? Oh, we have crashes at the loop. I think that was BlackCat. BlackCat crash. He had to respawn, so he's way back. And Passi and Garfovsky are the next drivers in front of them. So that means CMC 1, 2, 3 right now. Garfovsky though pretty close to Zooz and Neko. And Sander keep it clean out front. Passi trying to take a cut through the GP, but that cut is a lot slower. I'm not sure what that was about. I'm not sure if he's just gone into clown mode for that round. I think he just felt this one is lost. Well, that's map point, 6-2.
Yes, and Sander posting 1:03.27, his fastest time and second fastest time of the match. I noticed that BlackCat actually hasn't got a single round under 1:04. That is strange, and Garfovsky with 1:03.9 for the fastest time. So yeah, map point for CMC. Let's see if they're going to take it right here, right now. BlackCat with a mistake at the off-road, once again touches the inside. Neko and Sander in the lead from Zooz. Passi was right with them, but he made a small mistake. Now noobing at the loop, and 3 CMC drivers are going strong in first 3 positions. Passi was trying to catch up with them, but he made a mistake. Neko also dropping back, but he is still third. Garfovsky not quite able to make a dent in their armor. Ooh, that was a huge crash from Neko. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter, because Sander wins the round by with a 103.51. Zooz finishes third. And it is 7-2 for CMC, and I dare say it looked convincing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that assessment. CMC putting a very strong performance on Desert here, and it didn't really look in danger for them this time round. Of course, CMC versus TnT is a classic matchup. Many battles over the years.
Yes, indeed. And actually that means that we are going to have CMC against Ezom in the finals, because this is a best of 5 and CMC have just won 3 maps.
Yeah.
But this being Trackmania, United Forever, and the team being Good Sports, I think we're going to have the other 2 maps played anyway.
I wonder if there's any appetite for playing all 7 maps, actually. Probably not. It makes for a long evening.
Yeah, most likely not, because I think nobody even really trained those 2 maps. And oh my god, that sound of Sonic the Hedgehog is so annoying. I didn't hear any of it on Rally.
Oh, well, you know, it could be worse. I don't know if you've actually tried out my engine sound where it's just me saying CMC. And that is enough to drive opponents insane, or in fact it drives teammates insane as well.
I should imagine. Rad being sad that there was no Marok against Soro duel for Desert.
Yeah.
That would have been, yeah, part of the classics of the past. But still, Sander, Zooz and Neko didn't do too bad.
Yeah, with Sander and Zooz, of course, being old-timers, and Neko sort of the new blood. I mean, he's been playing for a few years, I think, but he's not got a long history in leagues like a lot of the other drivers here.
Yeah, speaking of a long history in leagues, I was recently going over browsing through the websites for the old electronic tournaments leagues, like United League 1, United League 2, looking at the lineups. So out of current CMC roster, Sander, Zooz and Quiksilver were all registered for CMC in United League 1, while Arrow and Jumper Jack were registered for CMC 2 back then.
No.
And so, who else do we have on our roster? We have Neko, obviously the new blood. Roa, I think he was in POD back then. I might be wrong. Roa was definitely in some French team. And there's also Vincent registered for CMC. I'm not sure whether he took part in UL1. If he did, then it was probably with LM, the guys who won the first ever United League, but I don't remember him there, so he probably didn't play United League 1. And yeah, an interesting observations, because TnT also were registered for UL1, but there was not a single player. Oof, that was... well, there was not a single player that you can see in TnT now. They have evolved quite a lot. I am sorry, chat. I I'm perfectly aware that Rowa was in TEP, but back in 2007, during United League 1, he wasn't yet in TEP. He joined them later.
So it looks like we're going to go for a 5v5 here. I'm not sure how many drivers TnT are going to offer up. See, I was actually on the TnT side. I don't think they would let me drive. I'm not sure how many warm-ups they're going to go for here. Of course, if it's not entirely serious, then maybe there won't be as much warm-up as there usually is. We'll see. And oh, JJ's restarting already. Ah, that's a shame. I didn't get to drive. Okay.
So yeah, he played FOT. Rad is saying, what's FOT? I forgot. That's too old for me. I didn't even have internet access during United League 1.
Okay, so 5v5. Hopefully, max point has been set. Let me check that.
Yeah. We obviously have a lot of trained drivers on snow. Nobody wanted to miss out. So 5v5 is a good solution, since the result has been predetermined anyway. And it looks like they are comfortable and have enough drivers of their own. It is going to be a lot harder to follow, and I believe Zooz has crashed already, and we have Arrow, Sander and Neko in 1, 2 and 3, followed by a colossal amount of TnT drivers, Arrow dropping into 3rd, and Ezom crashed. Oh my god, this is a bit too tough to commentate. I'm sorry chat for the quality. Anyway, Neko and Arrow 1st and 2nd, Arrow dropping into 5th. Who is going to win? I don't know. And it is a red team, so CMC.
Yeah, unfortunately the max points there were set to 6. I could see that during the round, and I set it during the round, but it doesn't take effect until the next round. So hopefully it should be in effect now. And according to the info, it is in effect now. So I don't know if it would have made a difference to the result there.
Yeah, it's a bit too difficult to tell. Arrow crashed in the tunnel.
So at the moment, CMC with a 1, 2, 3. And this would be a round win for them. We lose somebody.
Neko will have to respawn, that's for sure.
It's still a CMC round, but not by much. Zooz dropping into 6th would switch it over to TnT, so he's got to hold on to that position. Oops, and that is a TnT round right now. Wouldn't it be nice if we had live points? We really should implement that. But yeah, this is a TnT round.
And comfortably so. Can you possibly write a plugin that would show live points?
Yeah, that should be pretty straightforward, but it's finding the time to do such things that's problematic.
I imagine so.
All sorts of lovely possibilities with Fast to do cool things, but
okay, so it is 1 for 1. We have no idea who would have won the first round with correct points. Probably CMC, but yeah, I wouldn't say that with 100% certainty. In round 3 we have Rowa, Sander and Neko with Garfovsky for the leaders, and Norman going off the track. That is not going to do him any service. Zooz not doing too well so far. And it is an enormous amount of CMC drivers out in front, and Passi has crashed, so it should bring it into in CMC's favor, and with Luffy's crash also not helping the blue side. And we have so many reds on top of the scoreboard. Roa manages to register the finish while not even going through it. And yeah, that is quite clearly a CMC round.
Yeah, the only advice I can give for determining who's winning is I look for symmetrical patterns. It's not so important on 5v5. You're unlikely to get a draw. Somebody would have to fail to finish. But yeah, looking for symmetrical patterns in the lineup is one way to determine how close it is. Right now it's a CMC round. That's pretty clear this time. Sander does have the lead on driver points, followed up by Garfovsky and Roa on equal points. Neko grabbing the lead this time around. This looks promising again for CMC. 2-1 lead at the moment. And it's been a safe round. The only disastrous crash from Norman. He's dropped back 12 seconds. Can anyone miss the finish? Oof. That's a risky looking finish, but they do all hit it. It's another CMC round, 3-1.
Yes, and there's Neko with a 56.94, the second 56 of the match, and the fastest time so far. And it looks like these guys are going a bit faster than the CMC2 squad in Division 3, which is perfectly normal. And 3 for 1. Garfovsky still complaining about Sonic. Let's see. Looks like Zooz didn't qualify, because he was saying that he was glad he didn't out-qualify Sander. And in round 5, Sander is leading from Roa. 3, now make it 2 TnT drivers, Aro, Garfovsky, Neko. Zooz in last, but he hadn't crashed. Luffy made a mistake before the tube. Did he survive? Yes, he did, and that is a good thing to see. So Passi is in second, following Sander, but Roa, who wants to have that position for himself, he is attacking. It is oh so close, but not close enough.
Yeah, it's another CMC round. It is very hard to keep track of where the important fights are happening.
Okay, yes. The game confirms it is a red team winning.
Yeah. So you see CMC have the first and third positions and the last and third last positions. There was only one driver left to make the difference. And that was Aru, and as long as he's in 5th or above, it's a CMC round. But yeah, definitely hard to keep track of all that live and watch all the action at the same time. Garfovsky out in front. Sander sneaks past. Passi and Zooz chasing now. CMC have a useful points lead at the moment, but it's a tight pack. Could all change. We only have Sonic at the back. I think he tripped over his own clumsy big feet, and he's leaving the pack of 9 at the front. We have a crash from, I think that was Passi. Roa and Norman is fighting. Oof, Roa and Neko get 1-2. It's a CMC round, but man, that those lead positions, 0.4 covering the first 4 positions.
Yeah, that is a convincing round for CMC, despite Arrow finishing way down in last. and Roa posting another 56. Also, I want to mention the messages in chat. Rad, could you actually use Web Archive and quickly check the UL1 website? The address is et-leaks.com/UL11. Oh, UL1 I mean. But yeah, Roa 100% wasn't in TEP back then. But since you say he was wearing a FO Zooz crashed FOT tag in August-September of 2007, he probably played for FOT then during UL1. Okay, so in this round, Sander and Roa are leading. Neko is fighting for third, he's currently in fourth. Arrow and Zooz are 8th and 10th. I don't know, does that make a CMC round or not?
That is a CMC round, yep.
Okay. 6 for 1, map point.
Oof, okay. So let's take a closer look at the map features this time round. This off-camber turn at the start is a good place for gaining or losing a lot of time. Not sure there's such a thing as a good place to lose a lot of time. And that's where the pack starts to spread out. Here they go into it right now, and yep, you see the pack spreads out there. They go into this chicane in the tunnel. It has a lot of potential for crashes, but I think everyone got through it safely this time. So this fast turn down as we go into this fast section, it's super tight. You don't want to slide on this. Fast turn. Are there any tube hacks in evidence? There's potential for people to pick up half a second there just by some tube tricks. Just steering slightly differently, which I suppose you could say about any turn. You just steer slightly differently, you can take it a bit faster.
Neko
But
with
yeah,
a bad
particularly
crash.
noticeable. Yeah, CMC on 1-2. This is another CMC round. Oof. Some crashes at the finish there, but it's not going to change the result. That's 7-1 for CMC.
Yes, 7-1 for CMC. That was extremely difficult to commentate. And Sander with 66 points, leading comfortably in individual standings and with the fastest time of 56.79 to boot. And it looks like we are going to play Coast? Or what?
Oh,
What
I
are
don't know. It
people
doesn't
saying?
look
See you.
like there's much appetite for Coast.
Well, probably because this is not the environment where TnT are strong. That was a map pick for CMC, and where they would be normally favored to win. Yeah, it looks like they just don't want to play the map they're going to lose anyway.
CMC want the practice,
Yeah,
which is fair enough.
they would need it against Erven especially, who were
Yeah.
sublime on this map. And also want to mention, we have a message in chat saying that FOT was Friends of Trackmania. Thank you, Wild Cows, or Cause, or whoever you are. If you can give me your TM alias, that could probably help. And also, Mr. Toshiba-san, if you could tell me who you are, that would also be very helpful for me.
Yes, did I not see an alt account joining earlier?
I definitely saw Entropist join.
Yeah.
Do we
Still
tell the viewers who Entropist is?
Oh, it's Techno Taker. Yeah, Techno Taker Entropist. I'm not sure who that is. Reusing Rez's colours, that's a bit rude. But
combining it with raw colors, unless I'm colorblind.
where is Roa even? Is he? Oh, well, that's not the same color as Roa. You are colorblind. What are you talking about?
I don't know. They're not too close to each other.
No, I think that's just an accidental. And of course, we do have. I mean, there's only so many colors out there. Most CMCs like to have an identifiable individual color, but it's hard to do. And others just like white. There are quite a lot of people, especially in the Finland drivers, who like just to go with the default. So, looks like we're kicking off, but is it a 4v4?
Yes, there's talk of having 4v4. Who would drive for CMC then? That would probably be Sander, Roa, Neko, and either Quick or Zooz.
Garfovsky is coming in for TnT.
But then they want a 5v5. Garfovsky is joining, and we will have Passi, Luffy, Norman, Ezom, and Garfovsky against Zooz, Quiksilver, Sander, Roa, and Neko. Norman saying Drifter. How much drifting are we going to see? We don't know. Sander and Quick, not with the quickest of starts. But ooh, Garfovsky going for a wall bang. Didn't look too fast for him. And meanwhile, for the lead, Passi, Rowan, Neko, Ezom, and Luffy. It is extremely tight. Rowan and Neko obviously trained, obviously prepared to beat. Oops, Neko has clipped a checkpoint, I believe, and dropped right back down the order. Roa still leading from Passi, from Luffy. There's Sander and Ezom following them. And it looks to me like it's going to be a round for TnT.
Indeed.
And actually, if CMC do lose coast, that would be a bit embarrassing. Since this was their pick.
Well, but they picked it for 3v3, which is a different ball game. Might be interesting to pick out of the results what would have happened in a 3v3 with the three strongest drivers. Zooz trying an unusual line there with a wall bang. Really hasn't panned out that time, as he's back in 6th place. Although actually I don't know where he was before that turn. Presumably he's tried it out a few times. I don't know if he's just messing around or he's confident that it's a good line. Luffy bonking the checkpoint there. Zooz and Neko making mistakes on the GP, letting some TNTs get past. Sander and Roa out front are making it a CMC round right now. And Neko battles his way into 3rd, or he did. He has another bonk tunnel. Oof. And that was tight at the finish. But that's a CMC round. Passi at the back trying some drifting. I'm not sure that's good match training.
Probably
match
not.
Practice. I suppose it depends what you're planning to do in the match.
And they will be playing against TFS for the 3rd place, but they can have it in best of 5, but then again TFS will probably just go and pick coast, so they are doomed to play it anyway.
Doom.
And Zooz going full speed into that wall, and he actually sort of makes the wall bang work. Interesting. And Ezom was currently 1st, made a small mistake. allowed Roa and Ezom crashing right out. So that is Sander, Luffy and Neko battling for the lead. Luffy actually getting ahead and Sander making a mistake. But Luffy also making a mistake. And let's see, so that puts 4 CMC drivers in leading positions. And I would expect this to be a round win for them. And Neko with a 102. And 1, 2, 3, 4 for CMC, that is definitely a round win for them. And we have some more messages in chat. People did manage to open the UL1 website. Roa wasn't in POD and he wasn't in TEP either. So yeah, he was probably in Friends of Trackmania.
Okay, I'm watching Zooz to see what he can do. Gonna try this wall bang. He makes it from second last place. It seems to be about the same, at least on that round. Hard to tell because, of course, other drivers made some mistakes. So this is a CMC round at the moment, and let's see what's happening at the back. Is there a drift contest going on? No, not yet. Quiksilver bonks, and he's gonna lose a bunch of time there, falling into last place. Oh, no, he's not. Norman's behind him. I'm not sure what happened to Norman, as they both go into drift mode. Roa and Neko out in front. Luffy trying to chase them down, but he did get close. Didn't quite make it.
And actually 3 very good times in this round. 102, 56, 66 and 80 for Roa, Neko and Luffy respectively. And I have confirmation from Rez that Roa was in Friends of Trackmania for United League 1. Thank you, Rez. And it is 3 for 1 for CMC. I saw somebody crashing. That would have been probably Ezom, judging by the loss of time on checkpoints for him. Roa and Sander in first 2 positions, followed by Luffy and Passi. Roa getting a comfortable lead, and Sander, who made a mistake, dropped down into 4th. Passi making a bigger mistake in this road section. It looks like a round for CMC. I'm not quite 100% sure. We're going to see very soon. Roa finishes first, followed by Luffy and Sander. And let's see about the others.
CMC round right now, but Quiksilver and Ezom, oof! That was tight. 100th of a second separating them. So Morgie in the chat tells us the wall ride that Zooz is using can be more or less the same, but you need luck. So Zooz obviously with the 4-leaf clover there, hoping for the best. And Morgie also making the distinction that it's a wall ride rather than a wall bang. So yeah, good distinction to make there. Zooz going for it again. And it didn't really work out for him this time. I think he dropped back. He lost some time there. But luckily his teammates Neko and Roa out front, 1 and 2, chased by Luffy, Passi. Oof. Except that Luffy slides out there onto the grass, and that's costly. Neko bonks on the barrier. That's very rude. And the barrier is offended by that and fights back. And CMC got this round comfortably at the moment, or it looks comfortable by positions, but it is pretty tight as the Ezom gets past Quiksilver. Roa, Passi, Sander, Zooz, and that is a CMC round. Neko coming in 5th, and 4 of the top 5 positions to CMC. They made it comfortable in the end.
Well, yes, although Passi was trying his best, not quite able to overtake Roa, 300th slower, and 5 to 1 for CMC. Zooz crashes right at the start, then follows this uphill section, Ezom crashing, Roa with a wall hit, Santa with a bad crash. Who do we have in leading positions? Neko, Passi, Luffy and Roa. Let's see how that battle is going to unfold. The top 3 are inseparable. Neko slightly ahead. Passi with a small mistake allows Roa to catch up, but he would still need to go a little bit quicker to make it stick. He gets ahead of Luffy, he gets ahead of Passi, but he doesn't get the best line for the last turn and finishes 4th. But I believe this is still going to be a round win for CMC.
Yeah, give a shout out to Ezom on that round. He was trying some creative lines that were well worth checking out. He tried riding the one of the quarter pipes, which I'm not sure that's viable on this map. It is viable on some maps if you're at lower speed. But I think on this map you would need to have messed up one of the previous turns to be at a low enough speed to make that viable. I'm also trying a jump from the off-road back onto the road going into the tunnel. Let's see if he tries that again this time. Again, it's the kind of thing you only do if you've made a mistake earlier, but it's good to be that adaptable. You know, you adjust it where you are at any given time. And right now he's trying drift because he is just too far behind to to make a difference. So I'm watching Ezom right now. Is he going to go for this upper on that quarter pipe? He doesn't this time. It could have been fun to check out. So where is Passi? He is chasing Roa for the first place, but Roa, I think he's got too good a lead right now. They both bonk the finish, but it counts. And this is a CMC round, and in fact that's a map win. 7-1 for CMC.
Yes, that obviously was a comfortable win for TnT, but I'm not quite sure that they were trying hard. So, this was a best of 5 series. CMC took every single map, so they won at 3-0, but did continue with the remaining 2 maps. Managed to win them as well. Island was probably the most exciting thing we had today. I definitely enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first 2 maps overall were the hottest.
Yeah, that was definitely a brawl, especially Island.
Yep.
Could have gone both ways. So that concludes this match then. CMC are the finalists and they are going to face Airvan. That is Air plus Revan. I'm not sure about Air against CMC being any sort of classic, because Air are a more or less a new team. But Revan obviously have a deep history with lots of matches in the finals against CMC. So that is going to be an exciting one, and I hope to be able to stream it.
Yeah, of course there is not yet a scheduled date and time for that match, but fingers crossed.
Indeed, and there will also be a match for 3rd place between TnT and TFS, which I would also love to cover. But since it's against TFS, who knows, might be a default time, and that's when I probably am going to play my own match. And I'm definitely not going to sacrifice my match for even for a top tier match.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, congratulations to Crazy Machine Chicks for reaching the finals of United League Reborn 4. Thanks to all the viewers for sticking with us. Do not forget to subscribe, because there will be more content coming your way.
Yeah, thanks to the viewers for all the chat interaction tonight. It was very interesting.
Yes, indeed. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope. Just thank you to TnT for this match. It was a hot one, very exciting, a glorious match to watch and to commentate on.
Yes, I can only agree with that. So that would be it from us. Thanks once again. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time. Goodbye.
Cheerio.